Video title: Humanity's Secret Weapon. How Apes Made History. Target format: video essay, documentary style. Section 1. The Accidental Conquerors. Fast-paced montage. Cinematic archival footage of human cities, space travel, and digital technology, sharply intercut with macro footage of chimpanzees, bonobos, and ancient hominid fossils. If an alien evolutionary biologist visited Earth 6 million years ago, they would not have put their money on us. We were slow. We had no claws, no venom, pathetic bite force, and thick skins that tore easily. Compared to the megafauna of the late Miocene, early hominins were an evolutionary afterthought, a weird branch of bipedal primates clinging to the edges of the African savanna. Yet today, one single ape species controls the planet's biosphere, splits the atom, and builds digital networks spanning the globe. How did a middle-of-the-pack primate hijack the natural order? The popular answer is simple: we got smart. But intelligence alone is an evolutionary trap. Brains are absurdly expensive. The human brain accounts for just 2% of our body mass, yet consumes over 20% of our daily metabolic energy. In the wild, a large brain is a starvation risk. To understand how apes made history, we have to look past the myth of the lone genius ape. History wasn't built by individual intelligence. It was driven by an entirely new operating system: cumulative cultural evolution. Today, we're breaking down the deep history of our primate lineage through 5 critical evolutionary shifts, from the first steps on the savanna to the birth of symbolic thought. 3 o'clock to 10 o'clock, Section 2. The Foot and the Flint, 3.8 m 1.8 m years ago. Graphics displaying evolutionary timelines. 3D models of Australopithecus afarensis skeletons transitioning into Homo erectus. Close-up demonstrations of Oldowan and Acheulean stone tool crafting. Our story begins with a biomechanical gamble: bipedalism. Around 4 million years ago, climate change began shrinking Africa's dense rainforests, creating open woodland and savanna mosaic environments. Ancestors like Australopithecus afarensis, famously represented by the Lucy fossil, began spending more time on 2 legs. Walking upright wasn't about speed. In fact, bipedalism made us slower than almost every predator on the plains. But it offered 2 massive advantages: thermoregulation and efficiency. Moving on 2 legs exposed less surface area to the harsh sun and required far fewer calories over long distances. Freed hands. For the first time in primate history, locomotion was completely decoupled from manipulation. The first tech boom. Oldowan to Acheulean around 2.6 million years ago, early Homo began creating the first systematically altered objects: Oldowan tools. These weren't just picked up rocks, they were precisely struck cobbles designed to produce sharp flakes. Simple, single-edged tools used to break bones and access marrow, a dense, untouched energy source other scavengers couldn't reach. Associated with Homo erectus, these symmetrical, teardrop-shaped tools required abstract planning and standardized design. Freed hands. Stone tools. High-calorie marrow energy surplus. Brain expansion by unlocking animal fat and marrow via stone tools. Our ancestors bypassed the physical limitations of a raw, plant-heavy primate diet. The extra calories fueled bigger brains, which in turn demanded better tools, initiating a self-reinforcing evolutionary feedback loop. Section 3. The external stomach. 1.8 m 300,000 years ago, atmospheric shots of campfire flames illuminating dark landscapes. Anatomical diagrams comparing ape digestive tracts to human digestive tracts. If stone tools unlocked high-density calories, fire revolutionized how we processed them. Controlled fire use, pioneered by Homo erectus and refined by later hominins, was effectively the invention of an external stomach. The biology of cooking raw food requires enormous energy to digest. Great apes spend several hours every day chewing raw plant matter and meat. Cooking uses external thermal energy to break down proteins, hydrolyze starches, and neutralize toxins before food even touches our lips. Feature chimpanzee modern human gut length, structure large colon for fermenting fibers small colon. Elongated small intestine chewing time per day approximately 4 to 6 hours approximately 1 hour brain energy consumption approximately 8 to 10% of resting metabolic rate approximately 20 to 25% of resting metabolic rate when we began cooking. Our gut shrank because it no longer needed to break down tough, raw fibers. The energy saved from reduced gut maintenance was directly reallocated to power a growing cerebral cortex. The hearth as a social accelerator fire did more than cook, it transformed the primate social contract. Protection. Fire turned night from a lethal hazard into safe, usable time. Proximity. Hominins gathered around a single focal point, forcing prolonged, close-range social interaction. Storytelling and bonding. The campfire created a low-stress environment where social bonds, proto-language, and shared cultural norms could flourish. Section 4. The Cognitive Revolution and the Others, 300,000 to 40,000 years ago, cinematic illustrations of Pleistocene environments. Split screens comparing Homo sapiens, Neanderthals, and Denisovans. Map of global hominin distribution. For most of history, Homo sapiens were not the only apes playing the game. Between 300,000 and 50,000 years ago, Earth was a multi-species world. Europe was dominated by cold-adapted, heavily muscled Neanderthals, Homo neanderthalensis. Asia was inhabited by Denisovans and late-surviving Homo erectus. Island environments hosted miniature species like Homo floresiensis. Neanderthals had larger average brain volumes than Homo sapiens, made complex tools, used pigment, and cared for injured group members. So why did Homo sapiens ultimately outlast them all? The power of fiction. Around 70,000 to 50,000 years ago, Homo sapiens underwent what historians and anthropologists call the cognitive revolution. Most primates can only cooperate with individuals they know personally. Limit defined by social grooming and personal recognition, roughly 50 to 150 individuals. Homo sapiens bypassed this ecological hard cap through symbolic thought and abstract fiction. Flexibility at scale. Humans can cooperate with thousands of complete strangers because they share belief in abstract fictions, mythologies, ancestral spirits, tribal identities, and eventually, money and nation-states. Trade networks. Archaeological evidence shows Homo sapiens traded raw materials across hundreds of kilometers, while Neanderthal tool materials rarely moved more than 30 kilometers from their source. Ape social groups. Approximately 50 individuals, bound by grooming, early human bands. Approximately 150 individuals, bound by direct trust, language, sapiens networks. 10,000 plus individuals, bound by shared symbols, myths. When environmental pressures mounted during the last glacial period, Homo sapiens didn't survive because they were individually stronger or smarter. They survived because their symbolic communication enabled vast, interconnected resource-sharing networks that no other hominin could match. 27.0035.00, Section 5. The Hypersocial Ape and Conclusion. Slow push-in on cave paintings. Lascaux, Chauvet. Shifting into modern technological art, fiber optic cables, and cityscape time-lapses. We often think of human history as a transition away from our ape nature. But in reality, human history is the ultimate expression of our primate heritage. We are hypersocial apes. Our greatest technological feats, from the printing press to orbital space stations, are not the product of isolated genius, but of cumulative culture. Each generation inherits a library of ideas, tweaks them slightly, and passes them forward. No single human knows how to build a smartphone from scratch, from mining the rare earth elements to writing the underlying operating system code. It requires the passive cooperation of millions of individuals across the globe. The legacy 6 million years ago, our lineage split from the ancestors of modern chimpanzees. We didn't win the evolutionary lottery through raw strength, terrifying speed, or defensive armor. We survived because we stood up, freeing our hands to build world-altering tools. We mastered fire, outsourcing our digestion and expanding our brains. We unlocked symbolic language, allowing millions of strangers to act as a single organism. We remained primates, subject to the same biological drives, emotional triggers, and social dynamics as our distant ancestors. But through culture, this particular lineage of ape turned biology into history. If you enjoyed this deep dive into human origin and evolutionary history, hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Which evolutionary milestone do you think was the ultimate turning point for humanity? See you next time.